afternoon. I'm on the clock a little bit because I'm on the school run, and I need to talk about a film I saw last night, and I also need to not be late to collect my children, so I'll just get stuck straight in. The film I went to see last night is called Dark Waters. It's directed by Todd Haynes and it stars Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway and Tim Robbins, among others. It is based on an article that was written a few years ago, but the article is a true story, and the true story is about corporate America, chemical companies, and them basically not giving a crap about people and their health. So we start in the late 90s with Mark Ruffalo's character Rob Billett becoming a partner at the law firm he works at, which is headed up by Tim Robbins. Really nice to see Tim Robbins in a film. I don't feel like I've seen him in anything for ages. And my friend who I was with leant over and went, Is that? And I went, Tim Robbins, Shawshank Redemption. She went, yeah. I forget that not everybody knows who everybody is like I do. Everybody's a massive nerd with IMDb for a brain. So yeah, Tim Robbins is the head of the firm. They've just made him partner. He's just had a baby with his lovely wife, played by Anne Hathaway. So things are pretty good until a farmer from a place called Parkersburg in West Virginia, which is as small and rural as it sounds, turns up at the offices that he works in with a box full of videotapes and says, my cows are being poisoned, DuPont are responsible, here's the proof. I want you to represent me. Now, that moment, it's his job to defend chemical companies. But it strikes a nerve with him because this gentleman lives in, like I say, in Parkersburg, and that is where Mark Ruffalo's character's grandmother is from, or grandma, as he calls her. And he kind of gets sucked in, he goes down there, he sees the farmer and what's left of his herd, which is 2 cows when he used to have 192 cows. So he starts to dig and dig and dig. If you've seen the trailer, like, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know before going to see it. It doesn't give too much away. So basically it's this, well, not quite one-man crusade, but it's this man's fight for justice for not just this farmer, but for a whole town. DuPont are a chemical company in the United States, among other things. They made Teflon. I think they had something to do with Lycra. But they're just so big and so powerful. It's the idea that they make the US so much money that they're untouchable by regulations, by the government, and so on and so forth. So it's a true story. It's quite hard going at times. It's not a difficult watch. It was absolutely fascinating. The performances were great. I was really sucked in. The colour palette of the film is very sort of grey and grim, but I didn't feel like it was bleak when I was watching it. There were some moments where there were some reveals about what had been going on that actually made me gasp, which I'm embarrassed about because that's the sort of thing my mother does when she gets a shock during a film. But yeah, just what they were doing is just astonishing. And the power that these companies have over the US government, they're untouchable because they make so much money. So as I said, I love Mark Ruffalo. I always have. He's been a favourite of mine for a long old time, since things like 13 going on 30. Obviously he's been in the Avengers franchise over the last decade or so, playing Bruce Banner and the Hulk. But this was just a superb performance from him. Everybody in it was good. Victor Garber plays the head of DuPont. I cannot look at him without seeing the captain of the Titanic, which is probably the first time I ever saw him. And he's a good actor. He's been in lots of other things, but I look at him and that's what I see. So he's in it. It's a strong cast. It's very well written. It's well paced. It's, like I say, it's really well shot and shocking. So it's quite a worthy film. It's a film where you learn something, it makes you think, but it's never boring. It's never, weighty or pompous. It's very much just like, this is what was going on, and it's quite horrifying. So it is definitely worth a watch. If you only ever go to cinema for light relief and escapism, then fair enough, maybe it's not your vibe. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, that's going to make you think, that's going to challenge you a little bit, or just push you out of your cinematic comfort zone, then I would definitely recommend Dark Waters. A really, really, really strong film. Very, very glad I went to see it. That's it. Better go and get the kids now. Katie out.